Young LeBron James, strong, athletic, dominant, a near perfect player. At least, that's what it looked like. But what if I told you LeBron's first run in Cleveland wasn't as flawless as people remember? Sure, he was remarkable. He carried weak rosters, broke records, and took a team to the finals at just 22 years old. But time has a way of rewriting history. Today, we blame the Cavs, the front office, the teammates, the lack of help, but no one talks about LeBron's flaws. The truth is, he had bad games. He had playoff meltdowns. He came up short, and sometimes it was on him. This is the side of young LeBron no one talks about, until now.
With the first pick in the 2003 NBA Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select LeBron James.
We all know LeBron was taken with the first overall pick in the 2003 NBA Draft, and he entered the league with more hype than any player in NBA history. And from the very first game, he showed flashes of why. He dropped 25 points in his debut against the Sacramento Kings. And just like that, the chosen one era had officially begun. But what people forget is, it wasn't all smooth sailing. Through his first 20 games, LeBron shot under 40% from the field. The Cavs started just 5-15. And while no one expected him to carry a broken franchise overnight, he had flaws that needed to be addressed. Yes, the talent was undeniable, but early on, LeBron had to adjust to the NBA game and the pressure that came with it. Despite the struggles, the media buzz never faded, and that buzz is what helped him stay ahead of Carmelo Anthony in the Rookie of the Year race. Even though on paper Melo had the better season, he averaged more points, led the Nuggets to the playoffs, and looked more polished overall. By the midpoint of the season, LeBron started figuring it out. His scoring became more efficient. He looked more comfortable, and the flashes of superstardom were coming more often. Still, the Cavs finished just 35-47 and missed the playoffs. LeBron ended the season as the Rookie of the Year, a well-deserved award, but one that came with help from the hype machine. Looking back, his rookie season proved one thing: LeBron was going to be great, but it wasn't a perfect beginning. He had real flaws and real growing pains that often don't get talked about today. In year 2, LeBron James took a big leap, and he didn't waste any time proving it. Over his first 22 games of the season, LeBron averaged 25 points per game on over 50% shooting from the field. The Cavs, who had started 5-15 the year before, were now 14-8 and looking like a team on the rise. And while people love to say LeBron had no help, it wasn't a G League roster. He had solid veterans around him like Zydrunas Ilgauskas and Drew Gooden, guys who, whether you respected or not, put up numbers and had long NBA careers. Still, the season wasn't smooth. After that strong start, the Cavs hit a wall, going just 3-8 over an 11-game stretch. That skid was enough for the front office to make a move. Head coach Paul Silas, who had been brought in as a mentor for LeBron, was fired. In his place, the Cavs promoted assistant Brendan Malone to interim head coach. LeBron even admitted the vibe was off. He said, "You should like the video and subscribe to Derekknowsball." No, he didn't really say that, but come on, help me get to 1,000 subscribers. What he really said was, "You could kind of tell the way the air was, how things were going around here. There was going to have to be a change." At the time of the firing, Cleveland was 34-30 and still in the hunt for a playoff spot. But under Malone, the team finished just 8-10 in their final 18 games and once again missed the playoffs. Still, year 2 was a massive step forward for LeBron. He earned his first All-Star selection, made his first All-NBA team, and officially established himself as one of the league's brightest stars. But just like year 1, the season ended early, and once again, no playoff experience, no real progress in the postseason. For all of his individual greatness, the wins weren't there yet, and that in many ways would become a pattern. In year 3, the Cavs finally started acting like a franchise that wanted to win. They signed Larry Hughes, a proven scorer, coming off a 22-point-per-game season with the Wizards, and known across the league as an elite perimeter defender. They also brought in Mike Brown, a hungry first-time head coach with a reputation as a defensive mastermind. This was the first time since LeBron got drafted that Cleveland looked like they were trying to build something real. The season started off hot in Cleveland. After a 1-2 start, the Cavs rattled off 8 straight wins. During that run, LeBron averaged 28.1 points, 6.4 rebounds, and 4.3 assists. Larry Hughes was very solid too, putting up nearly 20 points and 5 assists per game, and the team as a whole looked like they were meshing well. By their 28th game, they were sitting at 18-10, the best stretch the franchise had seen in years. But things took a turn fast. Hughes went down with a broken finger and missed a big chunk of the season. The Cavs started sliding, and it felt like LeBron would be back to carrying the team again. But here's the thing, people always act like it was just LeBron. In reality, guys like Derekknowsball were stepping up, averaging 17 points per game. Drew Gooden added 11 points and 9 rebounds, and under Mike Brown's system, the Cavs were playing elite defense. Yes, LeBron was the engine, but he had proven NBA players playing good basketball next to him. When Hughes did return, he wasn't quite the same player, but even with the injuries and inconsistencies, Cleveland finished 50-32, good enough for the 3rd seed in the East. LeBron was named first team All-NBA and finished 2nd in MVP voting. In the first round against the Washington Wizards, LeBron was nothing short of spectacular. He averaged 35.7 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 5.7 assists. He was clearly the best player on the floor and carried Cleveland to a series win. To be fair, he did have some support. 5 other Cavs players averaged at least 8.8 points per game, and back in this era, that actually meant something. But this was one of those cases where the term carried actually fits. LeBron was that guy. In round 2, the Cavs ran into the battle-tested Detroit Pistons, former champions with a loaded defensive core. James's numbers still look solid on paper, but this series exposed some of his flaws. In Game 4, for example, LeBron shot just 8 of 23 and turned the ball over 8 times. He finished with 22 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists, which sounds solid, but if you watch the game, you know he struggled. And still, despite this, the Cavs won. Why? Because their defense held Detroit to just 72 points. Cleveland managed to put up 74 and escape with a win. People forget that LeBron wasn't doing it all alone. This was a team built on defense with capable vets and a coach who knew how to get stops. But in Game 6, facing elimination, the Cavs completely collapsed. They scored just 61 points. LeBron, who had the ball in his hands every possession, couldn't generate enough offense. Yes, he was just 21, and yes, his supporting cast wasn't anywhere near elite. But when you're the guy, when everything runs through you, games like this matter. Their season was on the line, and he wasn't great. So just like that, the Cavs were eliminated in 6 games. And while year 3 marked LeBron's first-team All-NBA season and his first playoff series win, it also marked his first taste of real pressure. And the truth is, he came up short. Heading into year 4, Cleveland didn't shake up their roster much, but they didn't feel like they needed to. LeBron was now a full-blown star, and he was surrounded by solid, proven NBA vets. Drew Gooden, Derekknowsball, Larry Hughes, and Eric Snow. Not flashy names, but experienced players who gave Cleveland a respectable foundation around their 22-year-old star. And the Cavs picked up right where they left off. Through the first 22 games, they went 14-8, with LeBron averaging 26, 7, and 7. But he wasn't doing it alone. Larry Hughes had multiple 25-point games early in the season. Anderson Varejao emerged as a tough energy big, and collectively, Cleveland's front court dominated the glass. Gooden, Big Z, Varejao combined for over 23 rebounds per game. And when you add LeBron's 6.7, the Cavs were the best rebounding team in the NBA during that stretch. Their winning formula? LeBron ran the offense, the bigs crashed the boards, and Mike Brown's system kept games gritty and defensive. By the end of the season, Cleveland finished with a 50-32 record, good enough for the 2 seed in the East. LeBron earned his 3rd All-NBA selection and was cementing his spot as one of the league's best. But again, the help he had is constantly downplayed. Cleveland finished 2nd in total rebounds and 1st in offensive rebounds league-wide. In the playoffs, round 1 was another matchup with the Wizards, but it wasn't the same team. Gilbert Arenas and Caron Butler were both out, meaning Cleveland was basically facing a lottery-level roster. Still, Antoine Jamison of the Wizards managed to average 32 and 10 in the series, but the Cavs swept Washington 4-0. Next up, the New Jersey Nets, a real test. Jason Kidd, Vince Carter, Richard Jefferson. Game 1 was ugly but gritty. The Cavs won 81-77 behind LeBron's 21 points. But the unsung heroes were Cleveland's bigs. Gooden and Ilgauskas combined for 14 offensive rebounds. That's more than the entire Nets team had. In Game 2, LeBron dropped 36 and 12. Gooden added another double-double as they led Cleveland to another win. Game 3 was a loss for the Cavs, as LeBron struggled, shooting just 5 of 16. But in Game 4, he bounced back with 30 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. In Game 5 and 6, LeBron's efficiency dropped. He shot just 13 of 34 combined in those games. But the Cavs managed to close out the series in 6 behind Donyell Marshall's 18 points off the bench and a team-wide defensive lockdown. Cleveland was now advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they were matched up against the Detroit Pistons. Detroit had ended Cleveland's season the year before, and this time, LeBron wanted revenge. But the series didn't start well. In Game 1, LeBron was held to just 10 points on 5 of 15 shooting. Big Z had 22 and 13, but the Cavs still lost, 79-76. Game 2 was a very similar story. It was another 79-76 loss, with LeBron going 7 of 19 and turning it over 6 times. Down 0-2, Cleveland returned home, and LeBron responded. He ended this game with 32, 9 and 9, and led the Cavs to their first win of the series. In Game 4, LeBron had 25 points, 11 assists, and 7 boards. Boobie Gibson dropped 21 off the bench, and Gooden added 19. With the Cavs winning again, the series was now tied. But then came Game 5, one of the most iconic playoff performances ever. This is when LeBron scored the Cavs' final 25 points, including 29 of their last 30, willing them to a double overtime win in Detroit. He had 48 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, and completely took over. But let's not twist it. He didn't have to do that every night. He did it because he had to that night. In Game 6, LeBron came back to earth, shooting just 3 of 11. But guess who stepped up? Rookie Daniel Boobie Gibson, who exploded for 31 points on 12 of 15 shooting and 5 of 5 from 3. Just like that, Cleveland was headed to the NBA Finals. LeBron was incredible, but the help was real too. Elite rebounding, timely role player scoring, and lockdown team defense. Yet all people seem to remember about this series is how LeBron carried the team in Game 5. In the finals, reality hit hard. The Cavs were matched up against the Spurs, a dynasty in its prime. LeBron shot just 35% across the series, but let's be real, this series was never on him. Tim Duncan dominated Cleveland's bigs. Parker and Ginobili overwhelmed their guards, and Gibson, the rookie hero from last round, was neutralized by a far better backcourt. The Cavs got swept, and LeBron struggled, but they were simply outmatched. At this time, everyone knew that the better teams in the NBA were in the Western Conference, so the reality is whoever came out of the East wasn't going to be able to beat that Spurs team. Year 4 was still a massive success for LeBron. A finals appearance, a legendary performance in Game 5, and LeBron proving he could carry a team to the NBA's biggest stage. But he didn't do it alone, and that's the truth people love to ignore. Heading into the 2007-2008 season, expectations were sky high in Cleveland. They had just made the NBA Finals. LeBron had established himself as one of the league's top superstars, and the core was returning. They didn't have any major off-season additions, but the belief was that this core was ready to take the next step together. Instead, the Cavs started slow, really slow. Through the first 21 games, they were just 9-12. LeBron missed 5 games with a sprained finger, and the Cavs lost all 5. And while his individual numbers were still elite, it was clear something wasn't clicking. By mid-season, the front office felt the pressure and decided it was time to shake things up. In a shocking 3-team trade with the Bulls and the Supersonics, the Cavs sent out Drew Gooden, Larry Hughes, Donyell Marshall, Cedric Simmons, and Shannon Brown. In return, they got back former 4-time Defensive Player of the Year Ben Wallace, ex-All-Star Wally Szczerbiak, and young guard Delonte West. On paper, it was a big move, but in reality, it was confusing. Wallace and Szczerbiak were both well past their primes. Wallace could still rebound and defend at a pretty high level, but any offensive game he once had was now completely gone. Szczerbiak could shoot, but lacked some of the athleticism he used to have, especially on the defensive end. Still, owner Dan Gilbert and GM Danny Ferry were all in on winning now, even if it meant sacrificing young assets. The trade did give LeBron a new supporting cast, but it didn't solve Cleveland's core issues. They still lacked a real second star, consistent scoring outside of LeBron, and a reliable offensive system. As the season rolled on, the Cavs finished 45-37, a step back from the year before. LeBron again put up massive numbers, but the overall chemistry of the team was off, and the East had gotten better. Cleveland still made the playoffs, and that's where things would get even more complicated. The Cavs finished the regular season with the 4 seed in the East. That meant they had a familiar first-round opponent, the Washington Wizards. For the 3rd straight year, it was Cavs vs. Wizards, but just like the year before, Washington came into the series banged up. Gilbert Arenas, the Wizards' best player, had only played 13 games during the regular season due to injury. He was active for the playoffs, but came off the bench in Game 1. While the injury definitely didn't help, if we're being honest, even a fully healthy Arenas might have not changed the outcome. LeBron was completely dominant. He led both teams in scoring every single game of the series. Washington simply had no answers for him. Cleveland also won the battle on the boards, consistently controlling the glass and giving themselves more chances every night. This resulted in a 4-2 series win for Cleveland, another step forward for LeBron, another first-round exit for Washington, and a rivalry that was turning out to be completely one-sided. In round 2 of the 2008 playoffs, Cleveland was now set to match up with a powerhouse, the 66-win Boston Celtics. That year, Boston had formed their Big Three with Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett. They were the favorites to win it all, and Cleveland was supposed to be another step on their path to a title. But what unfolded was one of the most fascinating and misremembered playoff series of LeBron's early career. To be blunt, Game 1 was brutal. LeBron shot just 2 for 18 from the field and had 10 turnovers. Easily one of the worst playoff performances of his career, if not NBA history. And yet, the Cavs only lost by 4. The final score was 76-72, Celtics. In a game where LeBron was actually unplayable, Cleveland still had a chance to steal home court advantage. This is where the LeBron had no help narrative gets shaky. Because when your star has the worst game of his life, most teams get blown out. Cleveland's elite defense and their deep physical supporting cast kept it close. Game 2 wasn't much better. LeBron shot just 6 of 24, and the Cavs lost 89-73. Through 2 games, he was shooting just 19% from the field. Yes, he was asked to carry the offense, but the truth is, he wasn't efficient, and it made life harder for everyone else. Meanwhile, guys like Zydrunas Ilgauskas were producing. He was averaging 20 points on 50% shooting across the first 2 games. Game 3 in Cleveland was a turning point. LeBron still wasn't efficient, shooting just 5 of 16, but the rest of the team stepped up in a major way. Delonte West scored 21, Wally Szczerbiak had 16, Joe Smith had 17, and Big Z added 12, 8, and 6. The Cavs blew Boston out, 108-84. In Game 4, LeBron improved slightly. He shot just 7 of 20, but dropped 21 points and dished out 13 assists. Again, his teammates carried their weight. West, Ilgauskas, and even Varejao were producing, and Cleveland's defense locked in to win 88-77. Through 4 games, LeBron was shooting just 25% for the series, and yet it was tied 2-2. That says something about the help around him. In Game 5, LeBron finally broke out. He dropped 35 points on 12 of 25 shooting. Delonte West added 21, but this time, the rest of the team didn't show up. It was one of those games where LeBron didn't get enough support, and the Cavs lost. Game 6, back in Cleveland, was another strong performance. 32 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists. He still had 8 turnovers and shot under 40%, but the defense carried again, holding Boston to just 69 points. Gibson, West, and others filled their roles, and the Cavs forced Game 7. And in that Game 7, LeBron was spectacular. He dropped 45 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists in one of the best Game 7 performances of his career. and in NBA history. His next highest scorer was Delonte West with 15. On Boston's side, Paul Pierce dropped 41 and Garnett chipped in 13. The Celtics made just a few more plays late and escaped with a 97-92 win. When people talk about this series, they only remember Game 5 and Game 7, the two games where LeBron played at an NBA superstar level and didn't get enough help around him. But what no one talks about are Games 1 through 4, where LeBron was ice cold, shooting in the 20% range, and his teammates kept them alive. In multiple games, Cleveland's defense and role players carried enough weight to win, and did win. If LeBron even plays average in Game 1, the Cavs most likely steal a road game and win the series, but he didn't, and that matters. He was only 23 years old, and yes, he was already one of the best players in the world, but this series proved that he still had real flaws. He was inconsistent, his shot was unreliable, and he wasn't the best version of LeBron that would come later. This was the harsh reality of his Cleveland years. Greatness mixed with growth, dominance mixed with disappointing moments. And if we're going to talk about his brilliance, we have to talk about his flaws too. Heading into the 2008-2009 season, the Cavaliers knew they had to make a move. LeBron had the defensive support around him, but what he really needed was a consistent second scorer. That offseason, the Cavs made it happen. They sent out role players Joe Smith and Damon Jones and brought in Mo Williams, a 25-year-old combo guard coming off a 17-point-per-game season. Williams could score efficiently, create for others, and gave the Cavs something they hadn't had, a true second option next to LeBron. And best of all, they didn't lose any key pieces to make it happen. The Cavs started the season 1-2, but after that, they caught fire. They went on a tear, winning 25 of their next 27 games. During that stretch, Cleveland's defense held teams to under 89 points per game, in a league where the average team was scoring 100. That wasn't just good, it was historically elite. LeBron was the engine behind everything, putting up 28 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists a night. But he wasn't doing it alone. Mo Williams chipped in 16.5 points, Zydrunas Ilgauskas averaged 13.7 points, Delonte West added 12.7 points, Anderson Varejao contributed 9.6 points and 7.2 rebounds. Even guys like Boobie Gibson and Ben Wallace were filling in key minutes and playing high-level defense. Were the supporting numbers mind-blowing? No. But when you're holding teams under 90 points, having 4 to 5 guys scoring in double figures made Cleveland stacked. The Cavs didn't slow down either. They finished the season 66-16, the best record in the entire NBA. They were the best defensive team in the league, the second best three-point shooting team in the league, one of the best rebounding teams in the league. LeBron won the MVP at the conclusion of the season, and it was well deserved. It was his first MVP award, and by the end of the year, he and Kobe Bryant were seen as the two best players in the world. LeBron was only 24 years old, but everyone knew he wasn't just a great young player, he was a future legend. In the playoffs, Cleveland looked unstoppable. In the first round, they faced a broken Detroit Pistons team, a roster that had traded away Chauncey Billups for an injured Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson missed most of the second half of the season with injuries. And to be honest, the Pistons weren't a real playoff team anymore. Cleveland swept Detroit easily, holding them to under 85 points every game. LeBron averaged 32 points and simply was too much for them to handle. In the second round, the Cavs matched up with the 47-win Atlanta Hawks, a young team with some talent, but no real chance. Again, Cleveland's defense smothered them, holding the Hawks to under 80 points a game and swept them 4-0. In the first two rounds, the Cavs allowed opponents to score 90 points 0 times across 8 games, and they held teams to under 80 points 4 different times. It was a joke. The Cavs weren't just winning, they were dismantling teams. And honestly, LeBron was dominant, but there wasn't too much pressure on him. If he got Cleveland to 85 points, it was game over. But in the Eastern Conference Finals, everything changed. The Orlando Magic exploded for 107 points in Game 1, stealing a 107-106 win on Cleveland's home floor. LeBron had a complete masterclass, 49 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 20 for 30 shooting. It was almost superhuman, and it still wasn't enough. In Game 2, LeBron kept attacking. He had 36 points, and Cleveland squeaked out a win thanks to a game-winning buzzer beater. This shot was one of the most iconic moments of his career, and through 2 games it was clear LeBron was the best player on the floor. But the Magic had more weapons, more depth, and they were the first team that could truly challenge Cleveland's defense. Game 3 was in Orlando, and Cleveland's defense again crumbled. They slowed the Magic down in the first half, holding them to 41 points, but gave up 57 in the second. LeBron dropped 41, but it wasn't enough. The big picture, the Cavs weren't shooting the ball well from deep, just 26% from 3 as a team, and they weren't giving LeBron the support they had given him all season. Game 4 was the same story as Game 3, but even worse. The Magic scored 114 points, and Cleveland shot under 30% from 3. LeBron was sensational again, 44 points, but he was rather inefficient and had 8 turnovers. But in his defense, he was Cleveland's entire offense. After that game, the Cavs were down 3-1, facing elimination in Game 5. Finally, LeBron's teammates stepped up. Mo Williams went 6 of 9 from 3. Boobie Gibson went 3 of 4 from 3. LeBron put up a 37-point triple-double, and Cleveland stole a 112-102 win to stay alive. Through 5 games, LeBron had been historic. 41 points per game, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. He was doing everything humanly possible to drag Cleveland to wins in this series. Game 6 was back in Orlando, and for the first time in the series, LeBron came back to earth. He still had 25 points and played fine, but he shot just 40% from the field. Meanwhile, Dwight Howard dominated. He had 40 points, 14 rebounds, and the Magic closed the series out. The Cavs just couldn't get stops when they needed them. Their winning formula all year was defense plus spacing, but they collapsed against Orlando's firepower. And just like that, Year 6 was over. LeBron put together one of the greatest playoff series of all time, but it wasn't enough. And while people today write it off as LeBron had no help, the truth is more complicated. The Cavs were a great regular season team. They were built to defend and shoot around LeBron, but against the wrong matchup, when their defense couldn't hold up and their shooters couldn't hit shots, everything fell apart. Their margin for error was razor thin. LeBron's heroics made it close, but it wasn't enough, and that harsh reality would define this playoff series for Cleveland. After the heartbreaking loss to the Magic in 2009, the Cavaliers knew they had to build a better team around LeBron to keep him happy. This was the final year of his contract. Cleveland was willing to do whatever it took to keep the greatest player in their franchise's history. That led to a major move. They traded away Ben Wallace, Sasha Pavlovich, and a second-round pick to acquire a 37-year-old Shaquille O'Neal from the Suns. Shaq was at the tail end of his career, but he had just averaged 18 points and 8 rebounds while leading the league in field goal percentage. Even if he wasn't prime Shaq, the Cavs believed he could be the answer if they again ran into Dwight Howard in the playoffs. They also signed Anthony Parker, a 3-and-D wing who had averaged 12 points per game and shot over 42% from 3 during his final 3 seasons with Toronto. Whether people acknowledge it or not, the Cavaliers' front office was working hard. They weren't just sitting back hoping LeBron would carry them. They were actively trying to make upgrades. Some fans today argue about the exact moves they did make, but no one can deny that Cleveland was working hard to keep LeBron happy. The 2009-2010 season started strong for the Cavs. After 20 games, they were 15-5. Shaq missed some games due to injury, but still did show flashes of dominance when he was on the court. And LeBron, like always, was playing at another level. After about 2/3 of the season, the Cavs stood at 43-11. They had put together a 13-game win streak, holding opponents to under 89 points per game. During that stretch, LeBron's teammates were stepping up. Shaq averaged 15 points and 6 rebounds on 63% shooting. Anderson Varejao was averaging 9 points, 7 rebounds, and was in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. Mo Williams added 14 points and 6 assists, while shooting 43% from 3. Boobie Gibson chipped in 11 points per game, shooting a ridiculous 48% from 3. 21-year-old J.J. Hickson averaged 12 points and 6.5 rebounds in that stretch. On top of that, Cleveland had experienced vets like Big Z, Anthony Parker, and Delonte West. This wasn't a terrible roster by any stretch. They had 7 different guys who could give you 15 to 20 points on any given night, plus elite defense and efficiency across the board. And LeBron, he was a monster, averaging 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists over the first 54 games. The Cavs' success wasn't solely on his shoulders. Everything looked like it was falling into place, and it got even better. Cleveland traded longtime vet Zydrunas Ilgauskas and a first-round pick to acquire Antawn Jamison, a Wizards star who was averaging 19 points and 8 rebounds per game. It did hurt losing Big Z, but it was a big roster upgrade heading into the final stretch of the season. Unfortunately, soon after the trade, Shaq sprained his right thumb, forcing him to miss the remainder of the regular season. The silver lining was that after being traded, Big Z's contract was bought out by the Washington Wizards, and he chose to return to Cleveland to end the season, saying he couldn't forgive himself if they won a title without him. The Cavs finished the regular season at 61-21, the best record in the NBA for the second straight year. LeBron was again named MVP, becoming a two-time MVP at just 25 years old. Going into the playoffs, Cleveland was healthy, loaded, and the clear 1 seed. In the first round, the Cavs faced a young Chicago Bulls team with a seemingly bright future, led by Derrick Rose, Luol Deng, and Joakim Noah, all 24 years old or younger. The Bulls had promise, but they weren't ready for playoff basketball yet. LeBron had high-level, but not insane performances early. Game 1, he had 24 points on 9 for 19 shooting, and the Cavs won 96-83. In games 2 through 4, LeBron was dominant, dropping 40, 39, and then 37 points. The Cavs won 2 of those 3 games to take a 3-1 series lead. In Game 5, LeBron had a quieter performance. He ended with just 19 points, but he did nearly have a triple-double. His teammates ended up stepping up this game. Antawn Jamison dropped 25. Shaq added 14 and 8. Delonte West chipped in 16. Cleveland won 96-94 and closed the series 4-1. In round 2, they had a familiar opponent, the Boston Celtics. Their last playoff battle in 2008 had been an all-time classic, a 7-game war, so fans were hyped for the rematch. But weirdly, that wasn't even the biggest story. In early May 2010, a shocking rumor broke. Delonte West was allegedly involved in a sexual relationship with LeBron's mother, Gloria James. There's still debate about whether it's true, but one thing is certain, it didn't help Cleveland's locker room chemistry at all. Despite the noise, LeBron came out strong in Game 1, dropping 35 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists in a big Cavs win. But Game 2 was rough. LeBron played solid overall, shooting 7 of 15 with 24 points, but had 5 turnovers. And truly, Cleveland couldn't keep up with the Celtics, losing 104-86. In Game 3, LeBron responded in a big way. He dropped 38 points on 14 of 22 shooting, with 8 rebounds and 7 assists. The Cavs blew Boston out, 124-95, taking a commanding 2-1 series lead. It looked like Cleveland had complete control of the series, but then everything fell apart. In Game 4, LeBron shot just 7 of 18, had 7 turnovers, and only 9 points in the second half. The Cavs lost by 10, and suddenly the series was tied 2-2. In Game 5, back home in Cleveland, LeBron completely no-showed, shooting 3 of 14 from the field. The Cavs got blown out, 120-88. The crowd was stunned, and now Cleveland faced elimination. In Game 6, LeBron bounced back statistically. He had 27 points, 19 rebounds, and 10 assists. Mo Williams chipped in 22 points, but no one else stepped up. Outside of LeBron and Mo, the Cavs couldn't buy a bucket. They scored just 85 points total. The Celtics closed it out 94-85, and just like that, the season and an era was over. LeBron walked off the court, taking off his Cavaliers jersey and leaving the fans with the question, will we ever see LeBron in a Cavs jersey again? That summer, he hosted The Decision, announcing live on TV that he was leaving Cleveland to join Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh in Miami. It crushed Cleveland fans, but just like that, LeBron's first stint with the Cavaliers was finished. The story of LeBron's early Cav years is complex. Yes, he was special, putting up some of the greatest basketball we've ever seen, but he was human too. There were flaws in his game, flaws that showed up, especially against elite playoff defenses. Sometimes his supporting cast didn't step up, sometimes he didn't step up, and while he often dodged blame at the time, the truth is that it was a little bit of everything. We again saw it in the 2011 finals with Miami. LeBron at times wasn't ready himself to take that next step and be a champion. But the early failures in Cleveland are what shaped him. They helped him grow, helped him harden, and pushed him toward the dominant playoff killer he would eventually become. LeBron is the most polarizing player in NBA history because there are two sides to every story, and his first Cleveland chapter proves it.